Hello everybody, Apollo here with my video series of ATC, GCI and AWACS for DCS gaming. Today, I'm going to talk about headings. Yeah, that's right, headings. You know, this stuff. You know, that stuff. Yes, okay guys, take it easy. Early on, navigating when flying, you used maps and you used stars if you dare to fly at night, and you also used the compass. And the compass, do you know how that works? Well, I'll tell you, won't I? Compass, this stuff points the little red needle where the magnetic north is, and you're familiar with Earth. This is Earth. It got a north pole. Here you go, and a south pole, and it spins like that. But the magnetic north is not at north pole, it's something way off, like there. And the south pole is like that. Not really exactly opposite, but almost. And when you have a compass and you live on this side, the magnetic north is way off on that way, and the true north is up there. And what if you're living on that side, just below the giant laser thing? The magnetic north and true north is at the same place. Isn't that strange? All this is also depending on what kind of soil and ground you have. If you have a lot of iron in the ground or other strange materials, it might be a little bit different. And that is simulated in DCS. What? Yes, it is. And I'm going to show you now because I've made some experiments in the maps. Here we go. There is actually some kind of variation declination in the DCS maps depending on the date. Of these maps, you can see that in 1941, for instance, the channel was a 9-degree west, and that have changed over time. In 1980, if you have a map set for that date, it will be 5 degrees west, and the 2022 is 1 degrees east. And that is not exactly all over the map, but it's roughly the same position on the map. It's actually quite nicely modeled through the maps. And as you can see, there are some different numbers here on the difference. So check them out if you want to know the exactly declination or variation it is. And this 9 west, that means for true heading 360, magnetic heading shows 009. And this is like a bit like, oh, is it adding 9 or retracting 9? Well, you figured it out. It's called east and west. You can Google that somewhere else. All right. Here we go. I will switch you over. All right. So, for instance, gyro doesn't give a rat's ass about where the magnetic north is or such. It doesn't really care that it's on a planet. If you have a gyro spinning up very fast and you keep it in one reference, like you put it on the heading 360, it's gonna stay on the 360. And the problem is that if the Earth spins, or the Death Star, if you're flying on the Death Star, the gyro is still going to try to show you where the exact north you told it where it were. And that means it's going to change for about 15 degrees per hour. Or 24 hours, that will be 360 degrees. One full circle. Isn't that crazy? So the gyro is a little bit different than the magnetic. The gyro is really like physics, this heading. I'm gonna be on that heading. And true north is only used by the FC3 class planes in the DCS. Real life, modern planes use that. Yes, they do. And why do we use magnetic headings at all? Well, old planes that come from different regions and all that, everybody knows the magnetic heading. You can use that, so it's easy to have the same kind of reference point. And also all the civilian traffic is conducted by magnetic headings, which means that the runways, for instance runway 31, after a while the magnetic north wanders or whatever happens, it could be runway 30 or 32. Actually, you don't use runway 32 because it looks like 2-3 is very strange. But anyway, you understand the thing that it will change numbers depending on magnetic north. Let's talk about headings. What is, this heading? Yes, we talked about this before. Yes, I know. But what heading should you know? What heading should you learn by heart? Well, you should learn this. And that is 360, 090, 180, and 270 if you're going to be a controller or GCI or AWACS dude. Because you're going to use these a lot. So why 360? Well, as the Babylonian astronomers, I don't know. I have no idea. A fun fact, though, in Swedish, if you say 6, it's sex, and that's also the same word for sex. Well, it could be good to know. But going back to DCS and AWACSing, why should you learn this? Because you will use it a lot. Why not use the north, east, south, and west? Well, you can use that as well, but you really should learn all the circle around where they are and have it by heart. And also, you should learn the ones in between here. And those in between, I look here in my script, it says, no, Apollo, it's not abbreviated intercourses. No, it's not. It's actually intercardinal courses. That is 045, 135, 225, and 315. Also known as northwest, southwest, southeast, northeast, and all that crap. You know that stuff. So these are also the stuff you should learn if you're gonna do a AWACS and GCI thing. Know these numbers by heart. Know these headings, directions by heart. That is perfect. Also, a good thing to know is when to use east and when to use 090. Well, I can give you an example. Here we go. So headings and helmet fire, or rather to avoid helmet fire, well, yeah, this is me flying. And if I were flying in a dogfight or whatever, and I hear, Magic Roger, Fighter Ace 1-1, you're in a furball with 3 bandits. After engagement, fly heading 173 and descend to altitude 3,500 feet on QNH 2973. I would have helmet fire for sure. So what you should do is just take the information that you really want to give them, and that is green south. Okay, let's head over to the LotATC and see what we can learn there. If you have a situation that a fighter wants to shoot at something and they want to declare, is it friendly or not friendly? They could say, declare my 12 o'clock 10 miles. But what they should do really is say, declare on my 272 at 3 miles. Well, you understand, instead of just saying 12 o'clock, just give them a magnetic bearing, because then you can see if you have multiple targets from your fighter, it could be like the 248 or 257 or the 231 heading. It could be multiple targets there that could be confusing, and could be others. So you want to know which one they're shooting at. So you should answer back and tell him, well, okay, now they have already met, but you can tell him that Ukraine 1-2, Broad 283, 22 miles, friendlies, tanker at 18,000, left orbit. So now he knows roughly exactly the heading and exactly the distance and all that. So just the declare format is really important to use the single digits. Otherwise, use big numbers. If it's very stressy, just go north, south, east, west, like the helmet fire guy before. Or if they're more like responsive, you can give them like a 10-degree heading if you want them to turn heading 090 or 070, something like that. All depends on how much information you feel like your fighters can absorb. But for instance, when you're doing a precision approach or CUDA mic to home plate, well, then it's pretty important. It could be pretty shitty weather to give them exact numbers, like the 084 mic here. So it's like heading 084 home plate for Kutaisi for this fight here. Also, another good thing to know, in LotATC, for instance, you got down here, it says Mag Imperial, and that is you can change from magnetic bearing mode to true and magnetic bearing mode or true. That means if you check this line, you have a little T next to the headings, and also all the headings says, if you see the one here, I'll look at the Texaco instead, it says B05425, that is from Bullseye. But it says a small T behind it, which means it's true heading. And you can have magnetic heading, and then you'll see B, Bullseye 046, M, magnetic heading. And also this line or those vectors you put up will be magnetic heading. And that is pretty good actually to have the magnetic heading stuff because you usually have that. But if you have FC3 class aircraft, you can actually click this once more and have both true and magnetic. You can see here for the true 360, there we go, it's 354 magnetic. All right, and that is 6 degrees east. Now you know that. And how does it look in DCS? Well, let's take a look. Here you go. In DCS, aircrafts like all the others are doing magnetic heading, of course, but in the F10 view, let's take a look at that. It has, of course, true heading. Yes, the vector line here is true heading. So if you're gonna do GCI and AWACS stuff, ATC stuff on the F10 map in the DCS game, be aware that these headings are true. So this is true heading. As you can see, these lines here are like up towards magnetic north. However, this one shows 360 like that, and it's a roughly 6 degrees east offset. So yeah, now you know that. Awesome. So if you fly yourself, you quickly realize how fast your cognitive skills gets degraded and saturated by stuff like helmet fire, you know, which knob was that, and you have to fly stuff and all that. And speaking is not really, the communication is really hard. So take it easy with your fellow friends flying on DCS, because there's a lot of things to happening at the same time and to do. You have plenty of time to be rude with them later. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, keep your equipment sweet and your SA up. So see you around. Hey då!